Lawmakers say Illinois has not significantly changed its public defense structure since 1949, and the community hopes to change that, bringing liberty and justice for everyone awaiting a trial.
WIFR's Anthony Ferretti talks with people who advocate for more funding for public defenders and with a local lawmaker pushing to pass legislation for it.
At least 5 people shared their first-hand accounts with public defenders Thursday with the hope Winnebago County takes better action to fix what some say is a crisis in our courts.
I wasn't properly represented as a 14-year-old kid.
King Musa was involved in a serious criminal case and had a constitutional right to a public defender, but he says he felt helpless with his representation. He shared his story Thursday with dozens of others hoping for change.
My public defender, years later, even admitted that she wasn't even capable to represent me.
This is an opportunity for us to deal with some structural issues that will actually make justice more accessible for those who need it the most.
State Representative Dave Vela says public defenders are understaffed and overloaded with cases. The main Winnebago County public defender was tied up in court all day Thursday because of this.
We don't have swift justice either for the victims or for the defendants. And it costs a lot more money for the taxpayers.
That's why Vela introduced the Funded Advocacy and Independent Representation, or FAIR Act, which in part will create an office of the state public defender to assess client needs, staffing, and resources statewide.
Every case, these are human lives we're talking about.
State Senator Dave Severson says they spent more on defense level funding at the Winnebago County level than they've ever had before.
When there are delays in trials, which is very frustrating, it's usually delays that are caused by the defense delaying things.
One person who has been in the Winnebago County Jail for 5 years still waits for his trial. He spoke to the room tonight through speakerphone.
And it's not just criminal cases. People also shared stories about family cases. One person sharing they're in a battle with DCFS.
And over